Here's how the presentation we're going to give you. We're going to be brief because I can see wine over there and I can see food over there, and that's probably a more important thing as we get to 7 o'clock. But basically, why another book on sustainability? There's lots of them out there. There's some insights, and Tyler's going to basically carry us through this because he did a lot of the heavy work in getting this book together, and then Ron will basically provide some guidance on what you can do next with a book like that. Okay. So there's a lot of books out there. They're great books, and I think they're very interesting. One of the things that we found in those books, however, they were talking about the same examples usually, and most of the examples were from the US, and many of them have not yet become financially viable. And so those are the three big things, which was the insight for us, that these books are interesting. They're beginning to make a push for innovation and green, but they were still very US and European centric. They were still an idea which were not commercially viable yet, many of them, and there weren't many of them. There were just a few examples which were being used again and again. And so that's what we did. What we said was, let's put a book together with a whole bunch of innovations, but first let's make sure we agree on our definitions. And for us, Greenovations meant that you had to create and capture new value. It was not something which was out there already. It's creation and capture of new value by meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And this was the integration of the definition of sustainability and innovation together. Business innovation was part of the definition. Business innovation requires you to be able to make money. If you are not able to make money, then you cannot plow profits back into your successors, and you cannot grow and spread those innovations worldwide. So profit was part of the reason why innovation is important. Okay, and we used that definition, and we said, let's take greater than 50 examples to do this. In reality, we had collected over 150 examples of innovations worldwide. Again, a homework assignment for my students, and when it wasn't very good, I said, it's not very good, do it again. And the stick I had was the grade, of course, and when they didn't do a good job, do it again. By the third variation, it became better and better, and that gave us a foundation of what could be the beginning of this book. And we wanted to make sure the examples of financial sustainable, and we wanted to make sure that they were global. Global because we believe that innovations on sustainability, perhaps the better ones, may be not in the US and Europe anymore. And because those countries are already doing more with less. So over here we're used to doing more and using more to get more. And so it's a very different environment to be in. And the hope out of this was the book was, what can I do to get started? Everybody out there was a company, every individual who would read this book say, what can I do with this, and can I get started Monday morning? We also worked pretty hard with every case. We did work, Chuck, and we worked the folks at Empowered Energy, and we really bothered a lot of people to say, what exactly was the innovation? What were the barriers that you had to overcome? What were the enablers that had actually helped you get there? What were the drivers? And we took all that information and then asked what was the real impact. The impact could have been value of different form. It wasn't always cash value, but value. And then what was the next thing they were going to do around that. And that's how the book has been formatted. The way we got the information, I mentioned the students. Yes, those guys do dress up and they look very good in the jackets and ties. But we have close to about 600 students worldwide who are all in business at our school. We did secondary research, which means, of course, thank you Google. Google helps us a lot. Forrester and other organizations also. But then there were also lists which were put together by Business Week, Time, and others, which we used as an initial set to make sure that we didn't just take the first 50, but we had a set was much bigger than that we could screen through. We put a strict criteria in there, which allowed us to quickly get rid of the bad ones. And I don't want to use the word bad. There were many greenwashing examples out there, and you've got to watch out for that, be aware of that. Greenwashing is happening. A lot of logos have gone green. That doesn't mean they're green. A lot of proposals are written which says we are doing recycling or renewable. When you unpeel the onion, when you find it's not really green inside there. So was there true sustainability impact in what they were doing? Was the idea new in what they were doing? Were they going to make more money, or was there potential to make money out of it? And was there sufficient data, which is very difficult to do. Very difficult to get data for some of these examples. And so was there sufficient data to move forward on that? Okay. Out of that, we were able to put together a big list. This is not a bad list. They're all 2-page examples, case studies of some of the great companies and many companies you've never heard of. And I think a lot of learning comes from both types of companies in terms of what you can do. And lastly, just to give you a big, just to summarize what we see in there, if you were to look through the book, we have got about 70% of examples from the developed world, which may not be a right term anymore, but let's just talk the Western world. And then there's a whole series of 30, about 28%, which are from the emerging nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Indonesia, countries which are going to be the future of the world to a large extent. We also were able to touch a range of industries. Renovations happen, and they're happening across all those industries also. So with that, I'm going to basically hand over the podium to Tyler, and he will share with you some of the key insights about renovations. Thank you very much.